The doctor that doesn't care kills her patient. The first episode of Sincerely X, a TED Talk show that allows people to tell stories anonymously, opens with a doctor who simply stopped caring about a patient because he was being too argumentative and just let him go home early. 18 hours later, he was brought back in. He was hemorrhaging, his brain was hemorrhaging, he was losing blood too quickly, and he later died. If the doctor had cared, she says, she would have kept him in the hospital. She would have prevented his death. So this story is a bleak way to start a video about League of Legends, but it presents an extreme example that is relevant to anyone doing anything for a long time, because among other things, it is a story of burnout. Burnout is emotional exhaustion, a sense of depersonalization, and deep cynicism. Burnout is something that can happen when you do anything for a long time. For the doctor, it was working long hours, always trying to be there for patients, without realizing until too late that despite sacrificing so much time, in that time she had stopped caring and was less effective because of it. And because of the dedication required to compete professionally in League of Legends, professional players can easily experience burnout. So in the example of Doublelift has been playing competitively for a very long time. Last November, Doublelift announced he would sit out the 2017 spring split. His reason? 10 or more hours each day of scrimming, little if any time off, virtually no life outside of the game, and he hadn't seen a doctor for 6 years. Doublelift said, I quote, "It just seems so bad. It's such a bad life to scrim 10 to 12 hours a day for 10 months, 11 months in a row, and then at the end of it, 99% of pro players don't win. So at the end of it, to feel empty and disappointed." Martin Reckless Larson told Esports News UK last year in an interview, "I just thought if I played 16 hours a day for a whole year, I'd be the best player. But I think these days that's one of the worst things that you can do." Mark Cuban, investor and owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who has dabbled in esports investment, says, "I'm worried about how quickly players burn out. It's a grind to keep up and to become great, particularly at LoL." PC Games and reports that Cuban is concerned that these teams are breaking the rod on the back of young players with little consideration for their well-being or future in the industry. And it's an important comparison to make that the average professional player practices 6, maybe 8 hours a day. Usually that's the maximum. Meanwhile, just to stay competitive, a LoL professional player usually practices 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. And when the conventional wisdom for getting better at League of Legends is to just play more, that advice misses two things. 1. Playing more becomes practicing 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, time in which individual games bleed into each other. You gain a lot of technical skills, but just like the doctor who killed her patient, playing a lot of games can result in depersonalization, cynicism, emotional exhaustion. You stop caring about each individual game because now each one matters less. It matters less because if you lose, you'll just play another one. If you don't like your teammates, you just get new ones in 30 minutes. If it looks like a defeat early on, you just take the defeat so you don't have to struggle when the chances of winning are low. Every game is depersonalized, just one among 10 others that day. You stop caring about each individual interaction. There's no point in changing teammates' minds because you may never see them again. This is inherently bad logic. Most people blame their teams for making bad decisions. That is loser talk. You should educate and organize your team to make good decisions, and that only comes when you care enough about each individual game. Emotional exhaustion, a sense of depersonalization, deep cynicism. These are chronic symptoms of too many League of Legends players who just simply don't care enough about each individual game, but will play another game anyway. Problem number 2 with the conventional wisdom of just play more is that it de-emphasizes the importance of will. So let's just use an example of anime. For these characters in anime, for the protagonists, they're so endearing because they care so much. Every protagonist has something driving them. Gon wants to become a hunter so that he can reunite with his father. The Elric brothers want to become masters of alchemy to restore their limbs and maybe bring their mother back. Ippo just really loves boxing, and it is that passion and that desperateness to win and that will to power that brings him to victory again and again. Now, this isn't just something that exists in a realm of hypothetical anime super thoughts. Military theorists knew how important the will was in battle. Clausewitz, one of the most influential military theorists, saw war as a social phenomenon. He stressed the importance of the remarkable trinity of passion, reason, and chance. English military theorist General Henry Lloyd distinguished two aspects of war. One, a mechanical side that lends itself to analysis and can be learned, and 2, a sublime side that emphasizes the importance of psychology in leadership, morale, and human weakness. General Heinrich von Barenhorst emphasized chance and accident, which defied calculation and challenged human beings to heroic effort. Immense obstacles, according to Barenhorst, could be overcome, and the conventional principles of war could be overturned by energy, genius, and luck. Willpower and fighting spirit, Barenhorst claimed, produces victory despite supposedly objective factors, such as the numbers and the weapons of the opposing army. Barenhorst believed that morale and patriotism among troops was more valuable than immaculate drill and brutal discipline or the science and learning of their officer. And when half, or more than half, of war is based on psychological factors, morale, patriotism, how much you care, the value of that is immense. And without caring so much, each game you're failing to take advantage of everything that is available. There is more to getting good at League of Legends than just playing more. There is balance. We shouldn't play 8 hours a day if it means that we will no longer care. Rather than playing more, we should play more consciously. Don't allow ourselves to stop caring, because when we do, we drastically decrease our chances of winning. We give up on an essential component of war. We fail to take advantage of everything that's available to us. So give yourself time to care, learn to care, educate and organize your team around winning. So if you're going to be the protagonist in this story, then you've got to act like it.